be recording this. Do you mind if you can put on that side?
You're recording this?
Yeah. Finally. That's fine. Thank you. Yep.
Refuting the theory of evolution. The Atlas of Creation permitted the people of Europe to see the past for the first time, because the Atlas laid out the remains, the falsehood, which unlocked all of the claims of the theory of evolution. Not only is this giant book, consisting of the highest quality photographic illustrations, convincing and impressive materials, it also has attracted considerable attention because of the proofs of God's divine creation, the scientific information refuting the theory of evolution that it contains. 2008. Reports of the collapse of Darwinism are pouring in from all over the world. Public opinion polls in 34 major countries show that belief in creation is small, and that the theory of evolution is on its last legs. The numbers of the proposed evolution are declining day by day. The people of Europe are turning to Europe in waves. Saying, truth has come and falsehood has vanished. Falsehood is always bound to vanish. Shortly after the Atlas of Creation had been published in Turkish and English, the French language edition appeared and evoked a considerable response in France. Although it is now more than a year since the Atlas arrived in France, evolutionists have still not recovered from the shock it caused. The number of people in France who believe in the fact of creation is increasing by the day. Having seen the truth, the French public now entered into the real enlightenment, thanks to the Atlas of Creation. There now follows a selection of reports showing the psychological collapse that modern Yahweh's Atlas of Creation has creation and its impact on the world, particularly families. The comments in the magazine regarding the atlas from a confirmed evolutionist publication clearly revealed the defeat of the theory of evolution and the traumatic psychological effect this has had on evolutionists. An atlas sent to all schools in 2007 and that refutes the theory of evolution came just like a cold shower. The arrival of the atlas of creation literally had a shock to the naturalists, which have for decades been subjected to Darwinist and materialist indoctrination. The term "like a cold shower" in the report is one sound that's shattering. From the meat version, a SVT inspector in national education says, "This is the first major Muslim-based action in this area." This means that creationism has influenced all religious beliefs with a considerable success. In these words, materialist churches, stunned by the scale of their sudden defeat, have once again been forced to admit the superiority of the atlas of creation in the intellectual struggle taking place. The way the European students exposed to a Darwinist education have now seen the invalidity of the theory of evolution has come as a surprise to the proponents of materialist philosophy. Adeline Lecoq, professor of life sciences and earth at one Paris high school, sets out her thoughts on the subject. Opposition is much sharper than before. I have 5 convinced opponents of evolution in my class. Some are excellent students. They back their replies up in a much bolder manner, referring to the arguments of Darwin, which they found on the internet. According to AUD Dubai, Ministry of Education Inspector General and the Senior of Life Sciences and Earth Department, some situations sometimes arise in which high school students write the answers to exam questions about the theory of evolution in the way they have been taught at the school, but also that they do not agree with the theory of evolution. The French native, Evolution, carried a report on 22 April 2008 headed, "The anthropologist Pascal Piet says that creationism is growing strongly." In the paper, which has a circulation of 140,000, reference was made to the strengthening of creationism in France and the impact the atlas of creation has had on this change. Sarkozy's statements agreeing with what creationists and the opponents of secularism have been saying came as a great surprise. In their eyes, the reason for the evils of the 20th century is that people turn their backs on religion. What is the evidence? People who turn their backs on the Creator turn into animals behaving in conformity with Darwin's theory. If someone is taught that he is descended from a lower order of animal and is given no religious instruction, then this leads to all kinds of disasters. For that reason, evolution must be removed from the education syllabus. The media were largely unconcerned by Islamic creationist movements, until, that is, the Turkish writer Darwin Raphael's Atlas of Creation reached now that the atlas of creation had spread through the country. Universities have been slow to realize this. They had never expected that students would one day assail them with these questions. The arrival in Europe of the atlas of creation has led to serious panic among materialists and Darwinists across the continent. They say that the atlas, which they say bears no resemblance to any other work opposed to evolution they have previously seen, is far more of a threat from the point of view of their own intellectual systems than all other anti-Darwinist works to date. So much so, in fact, that they have even tried to ban the book. Following a session discussing the teaching of creationism in schools, the Council of Europe, headquartered in the French city of Strasbourg, went on to hold a press conference on 4 October 2007. The main subject of the conference was the atlas of creation, which lay on a table throughout. At the press conference, Anne Delvaux, a politician from Luxembourg who recently submitted a report to the council, picked up the atlas to show it to the assembled journalists and went on to say, AUD is a Muslim, Turkish creationist. This is the first volume. There are 2 more. It has been sent out to Europe in 2 languages, English and French. It says that the theory of evolution is outlined, that Darwinism is the root cause of terror, and that it is responsible for the dictators of the 20th century being wrong. Asked by a journalist about the messages that have been sent in response to the report, the parliamentarians answered, generally speaking, we received negative news. 32 letters supported the report. The letters were all opposed to the report. The Commission and I were generally described as people with no respect for freedom of expression and freedom of religion. Through its attitude to the atlas of creation, the Council of Europe made it clear that it was quite willing to ignore such concepts as democracy and freedom of thought and belief when these clash with its own views. On the other hand, such great fear of an idea, the atlas of creation being seen as a danger solely because it proves the oneness and existence of God, confirms the truth of the message contained within the book. The atlas of creation, which has spurred Europeans who claim to espouse democracy and freedom of ideas and belief to adopt contradictory policies, such as book banning, is still the subject of debate. And what is more, the shockwaves from it are spreading everywhere.
Basically, I would like to thank you all for being participants and attending the invitation today. Basically, I'll just give you an introduction about the topic today, which is evolution deceit and the fact of creation. Basically, we have lots of us who are good, the presentation speaker, all who will give you a link to the presentation for us. It's going to be radio, and basically the next 30 to 40 minutes, we're going to be spending time explaining about the topic. I'd like to begin with on behalf of the topic now, and then after the presentation, we're going to have a question session. In further continuing what we have done, please make sure you have a question in the middle of the video. And then after the presentation, we'll have a question session. Thank you for the presentation. And first, I have a small film for the introduction of what happened 1 year ago or 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, I came here. It's only a book, but in some banning actions in Europe to stop spreading the book, to stop that book to be in the school libraries and the children to read the book because they are questioning the meaning of evolution. And the first time we that Europe is taking this so seriously, education ministry is taking it so seriously, they could have thrown it away, but they did not do this. They very prepared reply and put gentlemen on and it's a kind of total collection. And with a small introduction, you can see it in our exhibition there at the front of the cafeteria. What it shows is the kind of fossil, the collection of fossils that shows that living beings are not changing, evolving in time, and are same as the living ones today. Millions of fossils we have in our hands, in all over the museums in the world. 100 million of them are there, evidently, clearly showing that they are just as they are there. So, what I would like to introduce, why is that topic so important? Evolution theory is just a theory. There are millions of theories in the world, but this theory changed a lot of things in our social life. That's why it's so important. Richard Dawkins is the leading prominent evolutionist person, a professor of biology from Oxford University. He's a famous person, and he's a leading atheist person in the world right now. And what he's saying, before Darwin, they think Darwin is a kind of starting point to make a support to their belief or non-belief. It was difficult to be an intellectual total atheist, and Darwin made it easy to become an intellectual atheist, because atheism before Darwin was not supported by so-called scientific evidence. And Darwin gave them this opportunity. Now, when you ask to an atheist, he can believe whatever he wants to believe or he will explain how many beings appear in the power. He will tell you that by a great small gradual changes by chance, by coincidences, and from one sense, with the evolution, it becomes like the complex living beings. So, this theory, it's not a scientific theory, and this is not the main aspect. This is not a important theory. This is why we are focusing on this theory. Because they are in organizations, or a group of people, or corporations. They apply it into our social life. How they adapt it on our lifestyle and the adaptation of the jungle to the urban area. They told that they were telling that, or they still tell that in natural life, species, living beings, are enough size. They can afford things. And they have to survive, and they have to do things to survive. They have to small things, they make the big one. And they believe that it's a law of life, law of nature. And this is anything they believe, because I can affect to our social life, social sciences. Let's say, for example, these animals, like our mark, like the other animals we know, we have the evolution theory. And idea, foundation of their own ideas to evolve into the concept and the mediation of building a master race, conflict and fight between races. Marx claimed that the they didn't struggle, they give up the fight, they give up the debate on the point, and they need an idea, a social idea for them, and evolution theory maybe Darwin did not think about it in the beginning, but they used it to make their own plan, let's say. Have Actually, collision of the strong growing even stronger at the expense of the weak. So, Darwin approached the same lesson now. They had a form of combination. What do you think of that? The idea of communism is by the evolution theory. Without the evolution theory, communism idea collapsed down. So Marx has his own writing to Darwin, and he wrote by saying this is the book which contains the basis in natural history for our view. In a letter, Marx wrote to Natal, his friend, another socialist. Darwin wrote to the as a basis in natural science of other than Darwin, there was very known communist leader who slaughtered millions of people in Russia. There are three things. There are three things that we are tender to. We have to teach them the age of the earth, the geological origin, and the Darwin teaching. They need it because the struggle, the fight has to be in their nation, in their people, and they have to slaughter, kill people. Then they have killed more than 13 million people in his time. The fruit of the law of the jungle, fascism. Totally, in war times or maybe 100 years ago, we were thinking that communism and fascism are totally against each other and were debating. No, they have the common point. The common point is the Darwin. Why is that? Because it's a struggle, it's a fight in between the races. The other in between the classes, and that one in between races. So what Darwin was saying, and some future theories, not very distant as nations like nations, the civilized races of men will almost certainly exterminate and replace the savage races throughout the world. At the same time, the break between man and low as balloons instead of as down between the Negro or Australian and the gorilla. Darwin Indians, Africans, as a low inferior races, and the Europeans were superior ones, and he was believing that, and he was saying that these Negroes or Africans or Indians and Turkish and the Asians, they were anything and then what the superior ones, was an evolution believer. And nothing remains but the same. The whole world of nature is a mighty struggle. Free work, there live, not fight. He who does not wish to fight in this world where permanent struggle is the law of life has no right to speak otherwise. He was believing that his people, from the genes have to be eliminated, and he has done it. He has made orders to eliminate the 6 people he collected in the camp, you know all the story, and he has made these theories. Coming from taking the support from the evolution theory. So, that's why it's so important, because all the conflicts still in the world, in capitalism, in every ism, terrorism, anarchy, and the other ideas to support the fight violence in the world are supported by the evolution theory. And every ideology who supports the fight, you will find in their writing something or many things about the coming from the evolution theory. So that is Jake Bruno, a professor from Harvard University. He's a very prominent evolutionist. Not I took the from not from the creationist scientists. Most of them from the evolutionist scientists, so that you will be able to see some confessions coming from them. He's saying that to explain how it means to feel the world. Always, we should have people if they did not, they must have developed if they did appear in a fully developed state, they must indeed have been created by some the questions that the evolution theory or evolutionists have to reply. How did Darwin originally appear in the beginning? What are the mechanisms of the evolution? Because there's a theory saying that nature is doing everything. What is nature? Nature, the wind, the soil, the rain, they are making the living beings and animals from primitive to complex. What are the mechanisms? We need an engine to do this. What are those? And if there has been an evolutionary process, you need to have a total evidence to support it. They are called what? Evidence of evolution. Are there any because there has to be primitive living beings and the rest, the fossil, and it's complex one. In between, we need trillions and trillions of fossils. Why trillions? Because the claim is one living being is primitive one, and in the process, there are mistakes. The nature is doing mistakes and eliminating mistakes, doing mistakes and eliminating mistakes. And we need kind of mutant intermediate forms with mistakes. We have to see them. One species has to be here, the other species fully formed has to be there. And in between, we need one species, the other species, and the in between the also has to be primitive, more than the living one. So, the question was, how do we cell form? Cell. A living cell is an important technology. In Darwin's time, we used to have only biology, but not the molecular biology, or not the genetics, not the genome, and we did not discover the DNA or the cell like we do now. Because the technology is only concept, which is like 1,000 millimeters. And here there are stations. There's some technology that is there in the cell, and hundreds of them are working. There are icons for those who wait, and there are packages, thousands of products. No factory is producing 1,000 or 2,000 products, but Cell is producing 200,000 of them, and they are packaging them, and the pack system of the cell is a kind of advanced technology, because the analysis when the production of protein has been completed, the last part of the protein, the but they are but only the packages. The models that the robots, and they are really the animal, the person who are the animal. And it's very package those things and take them to the world. That's very funny. And that's because I also show you the project has been completed maybe 2 years ago, I guess, rather than 2000. And Francis Collins was leading this project. Francis Collins also was an atheist person 10 years ago. After this genome project, he chose to be a believer because he confessed that it's kind of and wrong guy you know, maybe better than me. 3.1 billion. One single of them are affecting people will die, they will get sick, we will have different systems. And the capacity of DNA compared with the highest that create one. Now, nowadays, one of the things in there can produce DNA computer. It's not a computer that works with DNA. DNA itself is a computer. And making calculations like billions of calculations per second. And the capacity is like one molecule of DNA has the information of 1 million pages of encyclopedia. It's like a building when you put the books like that. And from Los Angeles, North Carolina University, Adam, known molecular biologist, he discovered that 1 gram of DNA contains 1 trillion of information, 1 trillion. You can count the books that can that these can contain like 200 billion or something in 1 gram of DNA, something like that. It's a small molecule, where there are information and without mistakes, because one mistake could have made it. And this is the packing type of the DNA, how it's packed, how it's squeezed, I mean. Because thickness of DNA is 1 in 2 million millimeters. And the long part of it is 1 meter and 70 centimeters when you open it. It's like a bandage, something like that. And you squeeze it and you put it into 1 into 2 million millimeters. And the way it's packed like this, the high we are trying to understand so, if we take one protein, we don't have to go to the further stages of this evolution theory. We have to explain first how the first living and how it became alive. And we have to explain how the protein can come to our life as a living being by chance, because they are making big buildings, and we are putting small stones first, the bricks. The smallest brick is a protein, let's say. And there are contains 500 proteins in a cell of a bacteria, let's say. And the whole of the proteins come together by chance is 10 to the power of 950. It means you try. And we are testing. We are taking amino acids and we are making different combinations. Not by chance, we are doing it. We try with them. In a minute, we can do the combinations like 10, 20, I don't know. You can do maybe 100 things also. But the problem to try it that amount to have the right combination, to have the right training, and make it more training or make something okay. If we cannot make it okay, we cannot make it and building is not going to be built. So it's starting from this point. And the chemical reaction during the protein production, the plant is here. It's a plant. Everywhere we go, in the natural world, we are witnessing the plant, but very complex one. In the end, the plant is written programmed by the cell, taken at one, the taken at 1 billion cells. And in the key, the plant is here. No chance, no coincidence, or no natural skill can learn that by chance. Because we can produce it in the lab. We are expecting that nature does it instead of how nature does it, how it's learning the plant, and how it's flying. This is only for the protein, not for the protein. Just as an example, just to make it clear. We are thinking about the barrel, and we are every possible case where we can find let's go back to our barrel and GOP is you can store more electricity, whatever you can find. And this makes some they can discuss, they can make their own research for years and years. And we expect that so now, Fred Hoyle is a very prominent evolutionist. He's a mathematician. Sweeping through a junkyard might assemble by chance, there's a junkyard so coming in by chance. Question 2. What are the mechanisms? What is the engine to push it, to arrange everything, to manage everything? So, regarding to Darwin's idea, according to his comment, it's natural selection. Nature is selecting the strong ones and will have to bring the new species. Will have to bring natural selection does not create any new species. Because what the natural actually is the deer is running away from the jaguar or another small one, and it becomes more strong while running away. But this elimination of the weak force is there in the nature. But after the elimination of the weak force, someone are not becoming a new species. They are stronger and stronger, but remain as they are as a species. So, Darwin was Darwin knew this, and he was saying that added this mechanism to explain it, because what we need a modification into our genes, DNA. We need new information because we cannot fly. We want to fly. We are jumping into places with a long and without. We want to fly and fly and fly. So we need the information of those genes to be added into our DNA. Then we can become so bad to fly millions of years without someplace doing nothing. So the evolution we are explaining that the reptile was jumping and jumping and jumping while trying to take the fly. And while jumping, they suddenly, not suddenly, by gradual changes, the wings appear and start to fly. And the birds can do it like this, by chance, by coincidence. But the mutation, the chemical effect of the radiation from the space, from the explosion of the atomic bombs or whatever. But mutations, what they do, they damage the information in the DNA. They are not adding the information, and they are not beneficial. Let's say these are mutations. After Chernobyl or after the war, the chemical effect, the damage, all the information in genes, they are able to be and it's a damaged animal. They make a lot of mutations to test that if there will come up a new information, but they fail. For years, they made research and you can observe the generation, hundreds of generations in a week, let's say. And for 10 years, more than 10 years, they have made these experiments into flies, but what they have seen was that the wings were coming from the head. The numbers of the legs were same, but coming from different places. The most beneficial new information was added by the direct effect of the end. And one interviewer is asking a question to Richard Dawkins.
Professor Dawkins, can you give an example of a genetic mutation or an evolution process which can be seen to increase the information in the genome?
And the question is, are there any possible some examples of the effects, influence of the atlas of creation? This is the main idea. Became fish in later stages. What we need half starfish, half fish with intermediate forms. Because if we are saying that starfish has with gradual changes in medium and the ultimate elimination of the cells. But we don't have them. But what we have done, we have the fishes millions of fossils and fishes millions of fossils, fully formed, but in between we don't have nothing. And Darwin also knew it and said why these species have descended from other species by fine gradation. We should anyway see why we are only in conclusion instead of the species being well defined, but as by the theory individual transitional forms must have existed. Why do we not find them embedded in countless numbers of the crust of the Earth? Why do we not now find globally in the variety? Also to support his idea. He was expecting this, but still no intermediate form found. Cambrian age excluded all the ideas of evolution in the fossil discoveries. In the American species belonging to the same genera theory of descent with slow modification to natural selection. Yes, Cambrian period. In the 600 millions of years ago, it was ground. All phyla appeared all of a sudden. All phyla, I mean families of the species. 57 of them were there suddenly. No ancestral forms. Sunny contracted. This picture is so important. Watch it carefully. Watch it. What it's showing us. This is the so-called evolutionary or before with one cell, and then it has to go like a tree. In the end, this is a morphological distance. But the actual evidence is so between this is the Cambrian period. With fully formed, complete their own complex form. And here we see that we are witnessing that some of them are extinct, like dinosaurs. 6,000 species of apes are extinct. Now in the world, only what's left? 120 species of apes. So what the scientists are doing, they are finding also and they think that the similarities between the living things, they make them think that it can be a kind of radical changes we say an evolution of the also they are like the and here we have less species compared to so that's what we have. We see a lot of and it's 520 million years. I hope you can lecture, you can check it. It's very complex and I advise you to watch the eye side, which is so important because 100 meters down, there is a pressure, and that's why it's designed, created with the double lenses to be protected. See, this is the eye of the Dubai, an actual photo, and this is the eye of the handicap, which is very good. We can see the solid down also. This one is the species, intermediate species coming from the water to the earth, and they were saying that these here, the legs appeared here, and there was a brain. More than 50 solicans is living. Even it's not extinct, it's living. People are catching them in Africa. So it shows them that it's a refuge. They remove it from the that shows us that it's there. I have it in my exhibition area. There is one and it's saying that with all these groups. So attempt to restore the source part, I have this because it will take our time. I'm just showing some drawings because the evolutionary education always bringing us some drawings and illustrations more than the so-called evidence. There are some evidences, but they are manufactured. In different times. Every year, every 5 years. They find sometimes on food, imaginary power of and coming from this too, they are going all the lifestyle. Then they found out that the belonging profit after 20 years. These people, it's called sit-down forgery, let's say. These scientists have discovered one skull. And after discovering it, they have told that it's 500,000 years old. And they took it into British Museum and exhibited it for 50 years. More than 500 doctors and professors have done their own doctorship and master's degree, their books, whatever they prepared, based on the skull. But later on, carbon test came up. And one guy came to the carbon test and but when he came to this skull, he has witnessed that this part of the skull is 500 years old. Confusion. Then they understood that they put two skulls together. One half was belonging to an ape, the other half was belonging to a new skull of the human. They made some chemical things to show it as it was like a whole. The evolutionists are taking its support, scientific support, in their own books, and he's a very important person in evolutionist agenda. He's saying that after this, and created if I had not the correlation of seeing side by side with me in the esteemed violence. The great majority of all the violence in the world chemicals and constructors. Yes, constructors. They do the construction or manufacturing of all of this. But still, why all the scientists, not all the scientists, a half part of the scientists are still believing or claiming that the evolution is the only scientific fact. This is the reason that I do it. It's not that the method that the evolution of science our a priori. The parents and the medical to create a language today for the evolution and that produce a failure explanation. Nobody moreover, they will not be able to so we cannot allow the divine force to do in saying that even all the evidences show a creation, we cannot allow that to be called evidence. Their confession. And Hitler is an important philosopher and scientist in Europe. He was before now let's take the story of the James and the Big Bang and the expansion of the universe. He came to the point to confess it on the BBC. And now he's debating against atheists. He has all of us not knowing. We all need us. I am Uncensored. Then developing this is the end. I want to get into more details in that. If there are questions or some things about my lecture, you can ask. Also, you can check all of them, all of you can check that course is mostly so important while practicing again. Thank you very much again. If you have any questions, you can take one by one. Actually, before you leave, basically, I would like to apologize but you can put your questions and